Well, good afternoon, everyone, and we apologize for the delay. We've had some great meetings that have extended over and some very important conversations, but did want to go ahead and begin with our joint Education and Culture and Health and Human Services Committee meeting. Today we'll be taking up two items. Our first one is a special appropriation to our Department of Health and Human Services FY21 operating budget in the amount of $312,455 for children, youth, and family services, therapeutic recreation services for school-aged youth. We're joined today by Ms. Joanne Barnes, our Chief of Children, Youth, and Family Services from our Department of Health and Human Services. So welcome to her. We've got Mr. Luis Cardona, the Administrator for Positive Youth Development for Department of Health and Human Services, and Ms. Deborah Lambert, representative of our Office of Management and Budget. Both Councilmember Joando and Councilmember Weimer are lead sponsors of this special appropriation. I think that at this point it's become a full council-sponsored appropriation, so it's got the full support of the Montgomery County Council. I will turn to Councilmember Joando and Councilmember Weimer to give some opening remarks in just a moment, but let me just say, again, as we said before in the introduction of this bill, this is in the spirit of what we've believed for a very long time and continue to try and promote. And I really want to thank the leadership of people like Luis Cardona, who's actually on the call with us today, who continue to talk about the need for us to really focus on these types of services for our youth, and who actually do the work in the community to make these kinds of things happen. But I also want to thank community advocates. There are plenty of community advocates that we all know in each of our various districts. For my at-large members throughout your entire councilmanic district of the entire county, who continue to advocate and fight for these continued resources as a part of our budget allocations each and every year. Just come to mind all of my advocates in the Montgomery Village area, who I hear from pretty much on a weekly basis about the need, and folks know who I'm talking about. And he knows who I'm talking about as well, who continue to talk about how we need to make sure that we've got services like this available for our community. And so it's something that's a no-brainer for us, certainly something we need to continue to do, and quite honestly is something that we're going to need to expand on as we continue through this global pandemic. So with that, I'm going to turn to my colleague first, who's on the Education and Culture Committee, Councilmember Joando, one of the lead sponsors of the appropriation. Councilmember Joando.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to all my colleagues. This is certainly a council-wide supported thing. We're very excited about that. I also want to thank Joanne Barnes and her team and Vivian Yao. I know this appropriation in particular, the therapeutic recreation services and the youth support and engagement hubs, but the one we're talking about first, this is something that, working in collaboration with DHHS in conversations for a period of time to help expand the offerings that they're providing and provide more flexibility and allow additional programming. We know that these supports for our students, particularly now, are needed now more than ever. The need to be able to engage and have a less structured program that can be fun, but that focuses on trauma-informed care. All of our students right now, I think we have to remember, are dealing with some form of trauma, whether it's not being with their friends or dealing with a tough home situation, and it's a whole range of issues. So this is not going to solve all those problems, but it is a important effort in additional capacity and flexibility for DHHS and their partners to address these needs. It was introduced in connection to a piece of legislation, which I think is also important, and we will discuss next month after the holidays, to end the school resource officer program, and tied to that funding. I appreciate my colleagues saying that regardless of what happens with that legislation, this is needed, and we need to do even more. And so we introduced it in that context and still think it's important to reduce that harm, but we will have that debate another day. I think this is a really good thing to come around and support our students with these initiatives, and then hear from DHHS what else is needed and how we can plan for the future, knowing that we are in an unprecedented time. So really appreciate the support from colleagues and appreciate the opportunity to intro the appropriation.
Well, thank you very much, Councilmember Joando. Let me turn to the other co-lead sponsor, Councilmember Reamer.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate your dialogue today, and I appreciate how you have expressed your strong support. And I know these appropriations are certainly in line with work that you've done and many council members have done. I guess I just want to say, as I have spent the last period of time trying to understand what I thought might be an effective way to use resources to build an alternative model, I have certainly realized that there are no easy answers, and it is beyond the scope of a quick process or a few people. And we're bringing this forward, I think, as something that we commend to you as beneficial ways to invest money in meeting the needs of kids, youth. Many of them would be at risk. But as Councilmember Joando said, certainly it is my desire, and we'll see how the council ultimately decides the question of police officers in schools. It is certainly my desire to build an alternative model, and one that focuses on diversion and intervention. I admit I don't know how to do that. That is a complex question that requires ultimately the leadership of MCPS and HHS to develop. And we could seek to build that through council initiative and try to bring those parties together. But I confess at this moment there isn't council consensus that we would request that. So we're in a bit of a interim moment. We will hear from MCPS about their view on SROs generally, and they have a work group, I believe, on discipline generally. So I'm strongly supporting these measures, and I think everybody is. I also acknowledge I think we have a long way to go to fully identify if we want to have a way of creating a system for students that does not have arrest at its, as part of its response pattern. Building that system is something that I admit, I don't think these appropriations yet answer, but at the same time, I think they are very worthy. And I think we have more work to do to get to that point. And that's okay. I mean, I think it's fine that it's a bigger project and it takes a lot of work. So, again, I look forward to hearing more from MCPS. I do truly believe that there is a way to build a alternative model, and I hope we'll do that ultimately. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me turn to my co-chair of the committees, Vice President Albornoz.
Thank you, Chairman Rice. So just a couple thoughts really quick. One, we moved these up and expedited these two special appropriations because we want to get the resources out to the people doing this work as quickly as possible, because as been noted, it's a complex issue, but the issue of the social and emotional toll on, related to the pandemic is immediate. It's now, we are in crisis mode here. And so this is critical for us to get these services out. And as I said in my comments earlier this week, while I respect very much that these two special appropriations were introduced within the context of a broader discussion with regards to the school resource officer program, we also have to acknowledge that that's a complex issue too, as Councilmember Reamer said. And there are multiple efforts going on right now, both within MCPS and the Board of Education, to analyze that program, working with a number of key stakeholders. And I've also been informed that the Reimagining Police Task Force that has been put forward by our county executive is also looking at this issue more holistically as well. And so by the end of this discussion, however long it takes for us to make sure we get this right, I'm confident we're going to get it right. But we're going to do it in an informed and rational way that has as much information as possible for us to transition and implement a program that is appropriate to Montgomery County, given our statistics and data and where we are as a system, taking into account how school security fits into this, how our social service network fits into this, how our case managers and mental health providers fit into this, and how our teachers and faculty members and parents, and of course, most importantly, our students. So this is going to be a brief discussion today because we have two special appropriations that have unanimous support among all of our colleagues, because again, we need to get this funding out into the community as quickly as possible. But for the folks that testified earlier this week and those watching this deliberation closely, rest assured, all of us are committed to getting this right. So with that, I yield back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you very much, Vice President Albornoz, and well said on so many levels. Let me turn to Ms. Yao to walk us through, but again, want to echo the thanks of Councilmember Jawando to you, Ms. Yao, for again, being able to come up with something very quickly and get us to be able to have this scheduled and on the agenda so that we can move forward with this because we know this is of urgency. This needs to happen now. And it's interesting, excuse me, that's also tied into our previous conversation that we were having when it comes to recreation fields that are available, those kinds of things, right? So that previous conversation we were talking about with CUP about community use of public facilities and how we can ensure that these things continue. Well, it's great to have recreation services, but if you don't have any place to play them on, if you don't have the fields or the spaces available, it makes it kind of difficult as well. And so oftentimes our discussions are tied together, and just wanted to make sure that we didn't lose that salient point. I know something that Councilmember Reamer is incredibly passionate about when it comes to our ball fields and the accessibility and availability of them, which will tie directly into this funding. So let me turn to Ms. Yao.
Thanks. So this appropriation would incorporate a flexible community-based therapeutic recreation model into current children, youth, and family services programs. And it will be used to expand existing positive youth development contracts and school and community youth services and linkages to learning contracts and services. The service would engage youth in activities that would support mental health, wellness, socialization, coping skills, and stress management. And of course, these services are very needed now to mitigate some of the devastating isolation and anxiety and depression that kids have been, that's been exacerbated in the pandemic. The services would include various kinds of enjoyable activities for kids in person, and they would also include family bonding activities as well. The services would be delivered by human service workers with mental health and therapeutic recreation training. They would be employed by a mental health agency, and they would either be licensed professionals or they would be supervised by licensed clinical staff. Council staff recommends approval of the appropriation. There's, of course, a great need for these services now. The service model also leverages existing DHHS programs, and using this alternative staffing model, it works around some of the shortages in bilingual and culturally diverse licensed mental health therapists that we're seeing as we've been bringing on more programs and services to support youth and students. The action is scheduled on the 8th, or this coming Tuesday. We have folks from HHS that can answer any questions you have regarding the proposal.
Well, I did want to turn to Ms. Barnes and Mr. Cardona to just give any feedback in terms of how you anticipate the rollout and utilization of these additional funds. So let me turn to you, Ms. Barnes and Mr. Cardona.
Good afternoon. For the record, I'm Joanne Barnes, Chief of Children, Youth, and Family Services at Health and Human Services. I am really pleased to have been able to work with council staff to help with this proposal. When we had a discussion within HHS about some of the methods that we would like to see used to help support our youth, we felt that it was time to do something in addition to providing additional mental health consultation efforts. And we looked closely at some of what, and I'll let Mr. Cardona talk about some of the things that he has already experienced as his staff are going back to a hybrid model, which includes some face-to-face convenings with youth and the benefits that we've seen from that. We also looked historically at some things that we have done in the past, both in our linkages to learning program as well as with our colleagues at recreation. So we think that the investment that council is proposing today would well serve our young people. Luis, do you want to talk a little bit about what you've seen just in the past few months as we begin to engage face-to-face with our young folks?
Yeah, and just as well known, many young people who just are looking for an avenue, a way to really engage in something that's going to get them out the house, you know, especially those who are in school. Unfortunately, in many instances, engaging in high-risk activity, but also just seeing through a lot of the either face-to-face work that my staff are doing, or through positive youth development programs like the wellness centers, or even through some of our community partners like Impact, like Backyard Sports, Club 480, where they all across the board continue to speak to this need for social, emotional, and behavioral health supports for young people. And so that's been a huge need. And I just want to really take this moment to acknowledge Monica Martin's leadership and really helping to guide us in this process, along with Regina Morales. Both of them really helped to lead and inform us in terms of what would be the best informed strategy to move forward on at this juncture.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Cardona, and thank you very much, Ms. Barnes. I think, again, it's very clear. And since you already called him out, Mr. Cardona, I know that Coach Hooks will be very excited to hear and see what it is that we're doing today, amongst many in our community who have continued to hit us on social media, talking about what it is that we need to do to give our children an opportunity. And I'll just harken back to one thing very quickly, and then I think we can move forward with going to a vote, Mr. Co-Chair. But it's interesting, in Baltimore City, and my staff and I were just talking about this as I was talking to the outgoing mayor there. They've seen a huge rise in terms of what they refer to colloquially as the squeegee boys, for a number of reasons. One, from a socioeconomic perspective, because some of those kids, some of those young people who had jobs that were more hourly wage jobs, those jobs have gone away and those hours have gone away. So they're trying to make sure they supplement that income. But a lot of it also is the fact that kids just don't have anything to do anymore. And a lot of the structured programs that were in place aren't there any longer. And so, Mr. Cardona, it is not lost on me what you highlight in terms of getting out in front of this to ensure that more of our children don't get caught up in things that they don't need to be getting caught up in, understanding that they don't have that same structure that they used to. My grandmother always used to tell me, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. And so, it's one of those things that, again, if you don't keep kids busy, unfortunately, they may get into trouble. And so from that perspective, Lance Dempsey at Northwest used to say, I never have bad kids. I have kids who make bad decisions. Let's not give them the opportunity to make some bad decisions and give them some great options that they can do to be productive and successful. So really, again, want to thank Councilmember Jawando and Councilmember Reamer for bringing this before us. So is there a motion?
I guess since I'm on the committee, I'll move the appropriation. I appreciate it. And I also appreciate all the work Joanne and Luis and Monica, who I think is on appropriate leave today, which is why she's not here. But really appreciate all the work. So yes, I'd like to move the appropriation.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? And that is unanimous amongst the committee. I did just want to share for my colleagues and those watching at home that unfortunately, Councilmember Navarro had to get called away last moment because our meeting extended beyond. So she apologizes for her not being able to be here, but I know she does support the measure, but will be able to support it at full council when it comes before full council. All right. So we're going to move on to our second item. And our second item is special appropriation to our Department of Recreation in the amount of $406,000 for after-school youth support and engagement hubs. It's an amendment to the FY21 operating budget resolution, designation of a non-competitive contract award for the Montgomery County Collaboration Council for Children, Youth, and Families. Today, we're going to be joined by Ms. Tate from our Montgomery County Collaboration for Children, Youth, and Families, the Collaboration Council, and Robin Riley, who's our director of our Department of Recreation, and Anita Arietti with our Office of Management and Budget. So this one, again, is another one that I will turn to Councilmember Giwando and Councilmember Reamer, another joint now full council special appropriation. And this is another one in which we're looking at ways to address some of the needs of our children. You know, we already talked about in the previous conversation about our disengaged youth and what needs to happen there. Certainly, when it comes to these engagement hubs, we've seen them from an academic perspective. And I think it's very smart that we also need to look at it from an after-school perspective as well. So again, kudos to Councilmember Giwando and Councilmember Reamer for thinking about ways in which we can expand this, and for the Collaboration Council, Ms. Tate, as well as, you know, I know that Elijah Wheeler and others, one of my boys who's really passionate about this issue. So I think it's really great that we're coming up again with ways in which we can address this. So let me turn to co-lead Councilmember Giwando.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I'm really excited about all these proposals, but this one in particular, in that I think it's going to help us get an area after school that critical. You know, what I found, I was reading some research that, you know, the 3 to 7 hours have always been important. But they're, even in COVID, they become even more important because, you know, you don't have that transition time and people are antsy. They've been in the house all day, you know, if they've been online. And so I think this very end, that this is targeted to high, you know, for pilot sites in high need areas where we know there are challenges, and the opportunity to test this out and hopefully expand it going forward. In collaboration with the Collaboration Council, and always appreciate Director Riley and kind of as the conduit and partner in all this work at Recreation. I think I'm really excited about this to be something that we could scale up over time, but also meet an immediate need in areas where we know there's challenges, where our hubs are, where we know that the zip codes are challenging because of the virus itself. Just go down the list. And I think, so I'm really excited to see what not only happens with these students that participate, but also what we learn about it so that we can hopefully go forward and expand it. So really appreciate everyone's support and looking forward to moving this forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Giwando. Councilmember Reamer.
Thank you. I apologize. I was just having to take care of something. I'm sorry. I'm a little distracted right now. Been working hard.
I said it all. I said it all.
Thank you. I think you probably did. Well, thank you. I'll just leave it there.
All right, that's perfectly fine. There'll be plenty of time for us to have other discussion as we go through the topics. Let me turn to my co-chair, Councilmember Albornoz, especially because he used to be the director of Recreation. So certainly, I know he has some points to talk about. Let me just again. Kudos to Recreation also for always thinking outside the box when it came to Dream Academy and South Lake and all kinds of other things. I mean, there's just so much Excel beyond the belt. it's just continuously working with us as we try and always come up with ways to continue to expand opportunities to our kids. And it's because of organizations like, or departments like yourself and organizations like Collaboration Council, that we can actually make these things happen. So just wanted to say thank you to both of you again. But Chair and Vice President Albornoz.
Well, thank you, Chairman Rice. Yes, I can speak in the first person about the youth development team within the Department of Recreation and our center directors and the folks in our classes team, all of which are fully committed to supporting our children, youth, and families across the board. And there is a tremendous infrastructure of trust and collaboration that has been built over a number of years that we are able to draw down from quickly to be able to initiate this program. And it's an extension of a lot of the very innovative thinking that's been done around advancing youth development training and programming. And Councilmember Jawando is absolutely right. Those hours between 3 and 7 o'clock have always been critical, but have a new meaning now. I, like all of you, are desperately concerned about the emotional toll that this is taking on our students. Being in front of a screen for 9 or 10 straight hours at times, we're getting correspondence from family members that are saying they're seeing a level of aggression in their kids they've never seen before that's scaring them. And so that is another reason why this council, and I want to give a lot of credit to my friend and colleague, Councilmember Rice, for standing up the youth sports programming model within the midst of a pandemic so that we have outlets, positive ones, extracurricular activities that are done in a safe manner, that are primarily done outdoors, that take into account all of the necessary steps to address the COVID response, but still give a positive outlet for our students to be able to engage in something productive and where they can release some of this pent-up energy and frustration and angst that they're feeling right now. And it has a cascading effect on their entire families, including their parents, and it's creating a level of tension that I know Luis has talked about often. In some families, it feels like it's ready to explode. So this is a very wise investment, more of which we're going to have to make moving forward. And as the vaccine becomes available and as things get back to normal, this provides a very important transition on a number of different levels. So with that, I yield back to you, Mr. Chairman, and look forward to hearing about what the plans are and how these funds will be disseminated.
Excellent. Let me turn to Councilmember Glass.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. I wasn't quite sure with the presentation if we were going to fast track it like the last conversation, but I've already gone through the slide deck, right? So I can hold off until after the presentation, but I got to say the slide deck is awesome. Really good information in a beautiful layout, so I appreciate design as well. And as the former executive director of an after-school, out-of-school program, I appreciate the thoughtfulness that's gone into this. You know, the partnerships that you've created, each with their own umbrella of supporting organizations. I mean, that's brilliant. So kudos to you. I'll stop talking now so that you could share some of that information. But I appreciate the initiative by my colleagues and all that you all continue to do.
Well, thank you very much, Councilmember Glass. And I'll make sure I have you at the top of the list after the presentation. So we'll make sure that that happens. I did just want to acknowledge something in terms of what Councilmember Jawando and Councilmember Reamer penned. I do believe that certainly the more that we can do to give our children other activities, the less likely it is for them to actually engage in things that will involve them having some sort of other interactions, whether it's with police or school security or disciplinary structures within the school. I do agree wholeheartedly that the more we can do to give our children avenues to express themselves, to be interactive, to be socially supported, to be, able to get that pent up energy out, all of those things actually definitely contribute to a more successful child and a child who's less likely to run into some of those things that run afoul. So I completely agree that this definitely contributes to helping to make sure that we allay those kinds of directions. So I just wanted to make sure that I acknowledge that, because that is absolutely fact that the more we can do to give our children outlets, the better it's going to be in terms of their outcomes altogether. So with that, Ms. Yao, let me turn it over to you to make sure that we walk through the packet and then give our presenters an opportunity to give their presentation.
Sure, I'll just say a couple things outlining the appropriation and then turn it over to Ms. Tate. This pilot for youth support and engagement hubs will be designed specifically to engage middle and high school youth and families that are identified as at risk of disengagement from school. The services that will be provided will be based on a needs assessment that Collaboration Council is working on in collaboration with MCPS and each of the school clusters that are being identified for programming. They'll take into account school and community-based services to avoid duplication, and they'll leverage existing programs and identify service gaps. Also, academic supports will be provided to support youth and families who are having challenges navigating distance learning. And having said that, I'll turn it over to Shanae to give us any more details that are important for the committee's consideration. This too will go to action at council on the 8th.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Council. We really appreciate this opportunity to present before the Joint Committee and all of the overwhelming support for the good thinking, the good partnerships that have gone into this proposal, this appropriation resolution. We really love to partner with Council around what is ground zero for us, support for young people and their families. We've done it before with Excel Beyond the Bell and are happy to double down on those efforts, double down on the emphasis on the well-being for children, youth, and families with this initiative, and partner again with the Recreation Department and MCPS. That said, we are really excited to present, and I hope that I am sharing, yes. Present beyond the hubs, and thank you so much for your comments, Councilmember Glass. What we hope would be a layered approach that could be more long-term supportive of a different model of how we can engage communities and engage our children, youth, and families as a part of the solutions for some of their needs in a developmental approach. So you do have the packet, so I will not run through every slide. I know our time is short today, but one of the features of the program model, of course, are standing up these 12-week initiatives that would run in 2 cycles for after school that would produce more opportunities for mentoring supports, out of school time, social, emotional, and enrichment programming, as well as increased family wraparound supports in partnership with a number of partners. But beyond the actual in-person input and programming, we're hoping that this initiative also engages the community as collaborators. So a lot of the needs assessment work that is happening at this point is in partnership with MCPS and the Recreation Department, looking at what the needs are, as we know that COVID has impacted service delivery levels for all of our agencies. So the provider community is now a resource, especially those providers that have spaces that young people can be convened and supported during this time. So we do hope to use the strength of that provider community and what they're recognizing are the emerging needs for young people as a part of that needs assessment, in addition to talking to the community directly, engaging partners that we don't necessarily think about as vocal members of our community when we make out of school time decisions, our faith-based community, who's been a huge part of the COVID-19 response, and listening to families about what their needs are also going to be key as a part of this. So there will be some components that council will be able to look to beyond the service delivery part that will help inform future investments and future needs and inform where we might need to stretch out and or collaborate even closer as we do more of this collective impact work. So we're really happy this appropriation will allow us to do that level of coordination and to work across the community with the community. And I'm happy to address any other questions. In your packet, you have our previous iteration of the proposal from August, but it has been updated. Vivian does have that, Mary has that, that shows an amended timeline showing from December to June that these programs will be stood up. And we would accept proposals with partners during the months of December and January, allowing them to propose for either of the two sessions, knowing that between 24 weeks or among 24 weeks, there may be even more needs where our programming may need to shift. That's one of the lessons that we've learned with Excel Beyond the Bell. We would contract for a year, but the needs of young people are fluid. So we need to be able to pivot and respond. So we do have that built in as well. Again, I'm open to questions.
Excellent. Well, I think that what we'll do first is turn to Ms. Riley, and then we'll go to questions for the entire presentation. So let me go to Ms. Riley and hear from her first, and then we can go. Ms. Tate, were you done with your part? I'm sorry. Could you still have some more slides? Are you on mute?
Yeah, I do have the full deck, but I'll take it down for a comment.
Oh, no. So go ahead and finish with your presentation because we want to wait until after. Oh, you're good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So Ms. Riley.
Yeah, thank you guys for the opportunity to be here today. We've been working closely with Shanae and the Collaboration Council and Montgomery County Public Schools and having really in-depth, meaningful conversations about where the gaps are around this program. I think Adrian's on the call here today too. She and our youth development team have stood up two EBB elementary sites, South Lakes and Lalick. Super successful, super safe. 35 students coming pretty much every day after school. They're there from 3:30 to 6. We've identified some wraparound services that we can provide to those families, and we think this model for both middle school and high school can be an extension of that, much like our extension of our rec zones and our EBB middle school. So we look forward to partnering and connecting with Collaboration Council to provide this critical need for our young people in our community.
Well, thank you very much. So let me turn to Mr. Glass since you had a pin in the first spot there. So let me turn to you, Councilmember Glass.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Again, nice presentation. And so the only question I have, just kind of diving a bit deeper, with the implementation partnerships that are listed, Collaboration Council, Maryland Mentor, Nonprofit Montgomery, and then JESSA. With Nonprofit Montgomery, one of the bullet points is technical assistance for organizational sustainability. And as someone who, in my previous life was a member of that organization, I interpret that to mean that you're going to be reaching out to smaller organizations or innovative. And can you explain that a little bit about clearly the leading edge of youth engagement?
Yes, the provider base that we typically support with our Excel Beyond the Bell programs are tending to be the smaller providers, ranging from nonprofits to independent consultants. And a lot of times what we see is that they have the mission, they have the right targets, they have the right heart and mind, and they need some extra support. So what we've been able to do over the period that we've been closed is partner very closely with Nonprofit Montgomery to host informationals for youth serving organizations of varying sizes so that they can tap into those resources to strengthen them organizationally so that they can long-term be sustainable partners that we can go back to and work with again and again.
All I can say is amen, and I wish that partnership existed when I did the grant writing and the program management and everything else that is done in a 2 to 3, 4 person organization. So I think that's brilliant, and that is the best way to cultivate good long-term programming, as you said. So thank you for the program. Again, thank you to my colleagues for introducing this and fully supportive of it.
That was a great question and great point, Councilmember Glass. I just want to highlight for the millions that are watching at home, as Councilmember Jawando has penned, we've got the 4 high need areas are Gaithersburg, Montgomery Village, Wheaton, and the East County. And so I just wanted to make sure that folks understood that those were the areas we were focused on now, but similar to what we've done with everything from Excel Beyond the Bell to many of our programs. We continue to see that we'll need to expand and grow beyond that. And look, the reality is this, and you know, Dr. Gales and Dr. Smith hate it when I say this, but I mean, we're already in December at this point. And the reality is that folks are saying that the worst couple of months are still yet to come between December and January. Then you have February and the likelihood of us coming back to full-fledged school, even with vaccine rollout just for healthcare providers around that time frame, is unlikely. And so you're talking about at that point, just in March, I just want to remind people, would have meant that our children would have been out of school for an entire calendar year, March to March. And so we know that is having significant impacts on our children. There is no question that they need additional supports. And so, again, just want to echo my kudos to Councilmember Duando and Councilmember Reamer for recognizing more ways in which we can continue to provide supports for our students who need it, many of them at risk or at promise, as we like to say in the Curran Commission. We penned a new term. We didn't like the word at risk, but certainly at promise, and want to make sure that we give them all the supports that are necessary. Let me turn to co-lead Councilmember Duando.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out, of the not only the location of the hubs, but also that terminology. You know, another term that we use is the opportunity youth, right? You know, that but I like at promise too. You know, I think we should, you know, the idea is that when kids are given the opportunities to achieve their potential, they will do so, and it's the adults that often are the ones that need to step up and do that. And then if Ms. Tate, great presentation. I agree. Really appreciate it. Just wanted to allow you to elicit, just for people, as I say, for the millions watching at home, how many students. I know you have a plan and the ratios, and just to ensure the safety. I know we're operating programs like Director Riley mentioned with the under the ratios we need just to keep everyone safe. So could you just elaborate on that quickly as well?
Yes, be happy to do so. And it's really the success of the Excel Beyond the Bell elementary programs that we're drawing from, that they've been able to stand up those programs with ratios of 2 to 13, maxing out the program site at 52, that we're modeling these initiatives after those numbers. Maintaining the safety is our primary concern during this time. We don't want to engage young people and support them and then put them at risk at the same time. So we'll be following that 2 to 13 ratio with 52 young people per cluster for this initial round, for a total of about 208 young people maximum that can be engaged.
And that'll be at a critical, as I think Councilmember Rice alluded to, this 3-month period. You know, as we head into hopefully some hybrid instruction next year, fingers crossed things go the way we hope that they do. But even if that is, we know from conversations yesterday, that's likely to be our younger students first. And so this population of middle and high school students, you know, probably be at the tail end. And so another reason this is so important. And then I just wanted to quickly allow you to just elaborate on one of the things I really appreciated when we were working on this was the evaluation component and the kind of looking forward. And so could you talk a little bit more about that and how you expect to implement and use that information?
Yes. So a lot of the different program inputs speak to what the young people are going to be experiencing. And we want to definitely use that data to kind of trend where their other needs might be. So we are going to be looking at the reactions of the young people, their satisfaction, their participation, their engagement, and their knowledge gained from the various programs that they'll participate in, and how those programs impact their performance in school, their attendance in school, their feelings about being connected to school, school during the virtual learning time, as well as what the needs are from their parents as they engage with their young people through these programs. What are some of the ways that the programs have been able to support them with the family wraparound components, and what are the ways that we can continue those efforts? So it will produce a lot of lessons learned on how to support young people and their families if we want them to be successful in school in the way that we know that they can.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Well, again, I'm excited about this. Appreciate everyone involved. And thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Let me turn to my co-chair, Vice President Albornoz.
Thanks. I'll be quick because I know we have a hard stop very soon. I just have so much respect for the Collaboration Council, having been former chair of their board for a number of years. I can, again, speak in the first person about the incredible work that it does. I think two thoughts. One, the students that benefit from this are going to benefit tremendously. But as we know, the need will go well beyond the students that can benefit. And so I do think there'd be some value in thinking through the establishment of some kind of a kit, some kind of a program that students who may not be able to access this directly may be able to benefit from. I know the Kid Museum is doing some really innovative stuff around STEM programming that families can utilize at home and that's culturally appropriate. And so I think, as part of a broader discussion, I want to see how we may be able to expand the reach, but also acknowledge that our families, our parents are feeling a tremendous amount of pressure and anxiety as well. And so what's going to happen is students are going to come, they're going to have a great time, they're going to be engaged. In many instances, thanks to the incredible team, they're going to be referred to other services. But I think we should also think about how we can provide more holistic family-based programming in addition to direct youth access and programming. I think that'll be an important next phase of this as we look at opportunities and options for families. Because those families that are in crisis right now that we're trying to help with rental assistance and food insecurity, they need some therapeutic outlet for their family. They need some place to go. They don't have Netflix at home. They don't have, there's just so much that I think we can kind of lay the groundwork here for. So part of a broader discussion, but I just kind of wanted to make that point that, this is another important step forward in supporting children and youth. But it is a step. There's going to need to be other support structures in place. So I just wanted to make that point. Thanks.
That was actually another great point, Vice President Albornoz. So thank you for highlighting that. Let me turn to Mr. Cardona, because I know that with Street Outreach Network, you're doing some of this work right now. So I know that this will certainly help to expand and build on that. So let's hear from you about your thoughts around how some of this might be utilized in our communities. You're on mute, Luis.
I apologize. For the record, again, Luis Cardona. So there's a couple things here. Obviously, as has been mentioned previously, due to CDC guidelines, it has put us in a position where we've had to readjust how we operate. And so as recently as 2 days ago, we just entered a new partnership with a local restaurant, La Villa Restaurant in Gaithersburg, where they are actually going to provide space for the Safe Space program that was originally based out of the Gaithersburg Library. And, meeting the maximum number, guidelines and whatnot, but more importantly, also supporting our businesses as well, while at the same time providing access to food. Because I think the piece that Gabe was just talking about with the family is a really critical component here, because we all know that the economic situation, in particular the food insecurity crisis that we are experiencing in this county and in the country, is a major driver to a lot of the trauma the families are facing and the young people are facing. So we've been very intentional about trying to foster those kind of partnerships. Even in this cold weather, kudos to my staff. They went yesterday on a huge fishing trip. I went rock fishing. Craig, you need to go out there next time with them. And in that
I volunteer.
Cold, they were out there, fishing, and again, something to do, but at the same time addressing a need around food insecurity once again, And so, I'm looking forward to this. I think, it's going to be a critical piece, moving forward. So can't say, thank all of you enough for your leadership on this and for, really pushing us to really think outside the box.
Well, you know what? Look, let me just say this. You guys already do outside of the box. And Councilmember Albornoz has heard me say this a number of times and given kudos to our Department of Recreation, Collaboration Council, because we don't just do the normal stuff. And that's the thing, right? Everybody thinks, okay, well, football and baseball and basketball and all those things. And those things are great. But doing things that nobody's ever been able to do, because quite honestly, who has a boat? I don't think anybody on this call has a boat. I know I don't. I wish I had one, as much as I love to fish. But I mean, seriously, this is one of the things where it's like, and so having those opportunities, because it's quite expensive to go on a fishing trip. And many families will never get that opportunity. The only fishing they may do is go to one of our regional parks, and that's great, and go to the lake and experience that. But there is nothing like pulling up a 20, 25-pound rockfish. Let me just tell y'all, for you, those of you who've never done it before, it is an experience. It is awesome. And my family and I do it quite often, and we love it. So giving those types of experiences, whether it's, surfing or snowboarding or skateboarding and all kinds of other, and golf and all kinds of stuff that normally isn't there for our kids, primarily of color and of lower socioeconomic status, is just incredible. And so knowing that some of this is going to go to provide those kinds of opportunities for folks to be able to do on top of just the norm, right? There's nothing wrong with doing the baseball and the football and the soccer and all those things are great too. But having those additional exposures to things that they normally would never, ever be able to do or see or touch is just tremendous. And so, again, I give kudos and thanks to Collaboration Council, to Recreation, to Street Outreach Network for always thinking outside of the box in ways in which to continue to expand the horizons of our children, not just give them busy activities to do. That's tremendous. So thank you. All right. Let me just make sure I haven't missed anyone. Oh, Councilmember Rima.
Thank you so much. I wanted to ask Director Riley about our ability to provide more services using recreation staff. I know last summer there was kind of an impasse that prevented the county from offering youth services, which I thought was really sad. Where are we now? Are we still in that state? And what can we do so that we can reach more young people in addition to the appropriation we have before us?
Great question. As I said, we have stood up 2 sites, and we are using rec department staff at those 2 sites. They meet every day, serving over 70 kids, young people in 2 different communities. We struggle sometimes with space and getting access due to other providers being in there, or schools having concerns around access. And a lot of our own buildings are often used, as you know, for testing or vaccination. We were in a board of election mode for quite some time. So we're starting now to, as the elections have finished and testing is sort of leveling out in terms of the locations, we are starting to identify sites in our own spaces that we could come back in and utilize even in small group settings. For family fitness, children's fitness classes, skills and drills. So we're just starting to implement. We still have about 15 to 20 staff at the Board of Elections. And we're still opening buildings for delivering senior meals. So we're starting to think about ramping up things in January, depending on how the numbers go.
I mean, can't we make providing services for youth like a real priority? And
absolutely,
I know you make them. None of my comments are frankly directed at you. You're the champion for this within the county government, working with your partners. Can't we make services for youth a real priority? And I was struck by Luis's comment that they've lost access to a library and now they're in a restaurant. Mm-hmm. Well, on the one hand, we could make funding available to do that more widely, or on the other hand, we could actually open some library space. What's preventing us from opening library space for youth programming across the county?
I mean, I think it's a great question, and we certainly can open rec centers, especially now that some of the sites for testing have stabilized. We know that, we're going to have White Oak on 3 to 4 days a week. So we're starting to get that framework so that we know when those other sites will be available. I can't speak for Anita. I mean, they're still having their full-time staff deliver services from the library. I can't speak to the evening hours and weekends, whether her sites would be available for small group. But certainly we can have a conversation with Luis and others about, even in limited capacity, some of our sites that aren't used for testing. So what happens for testing, and I think I heard Councilmember Jawando talk about it, he just was tested. They come into White Oak and they'll set up in the gym and they'll leave everything set up because they're there 3 or 4 days. So those sites probably are not the ideal one. So, Germantown Community Center is a big one also now that's ramping up. But we do have some sites that are accessible to us on a broader level. And those are the ones we're looking to open back up in early January. We've had people, we have 30 people at Food Access. We had about 40 people at Board of Elections for a period of time. We're standing up we have about 20 people that are helping with testing. As they take vacation and leave and come back in January, you'll definitely hear from us and see that we're opening up sites for this type of activities.
Well, I'll just ask, maybe council staff can put some more thought into this, with us, and see if there is a way we can look at the rest of this year. I mean, I think we're all trying to add more resources to youth services, and there's probably more that we can do generally. So to the chair.
Councilmember Reamer, that's an excellent point. And I think it's something that we're going to have to follow up on. However, because we'll also have vaccinations that will then start to take over for some places as well, as far as some of our sites. So we'll need to figure out what the plan is. I know Dr. Kroll is on. So definitely working with Health and Human Services, working with DGS. We'll need to start to try and identify. Your question is spot on. It's one in which we do need to know what will be available to us and what the plan is for utilizing sites for continued testing versus vaccinations, and then what's available, prioritizing this as a key need for us, but in balance with the testing and vaccination capacity, which also is definitely going to be a priority for us as well. So we need to come back to this one. I think maybe we need to have a session on this. I don't know if it would be full council. It probably would be because it touches on so many different things. So I think that's a really good point that we're going to have to bring up. Go ahead.
Full council would be good, but let's not make the perfect enemy of the good. I mean, you may be able to convene a joint committee more quickly than the full council could meet.
That's true too. So I hear you there. No. Well, it's fine either way. So we're going to put a pin in that. We will follow up with you, Councilmember Reamer, and we'll make sure that we figure out something with joint committee about trying to get something started so we can have that conversation sooner rather than later, because you're right. The plan needs to be solidified. We need to start getting some of this going now. I did just want to, before we go to a motion, and I'll turn to Councilmember Jawando again as a member of the committee. Mr. Cardona, I also heard something that you guys were working on, which warmed my heart, which I know a lot of folks care about, which is food insecurity and agricultural sustainability, something I've been working on for a very long time now with COG and our farm committee. And I know that you're working with community gardens with you. Can you just very briefly talk about this? Because I think this is another great wow.
So it's kind of a funny story because it really involves my wife. So the kudos to my wife. In her spare
You're a smart man, Mr. Cardona.
Yeah. And so what happened was, as many know, up until early September, my staff had been really doing our best to hold up some food distribution up to an average of 2,400 families per week throughout the county. Thankful to a lot of the partnerships we had with a number of entities, whether it was through Nourish Now or whether through Catholic Charities and other community partners. And so our staff were, distributing food to many of these families. But as we transition to really help support the transition for the hubs throughout the county, one of the things that we realized, and I know that we always talked about within the Food Security Council meetings that you joined us on a couple of occasions, was how do we address the sustainability issue? Because Lord forbid if we ended up in some kind of crisis situation in the Department of Agriculture when all of a sudden the USDA food distribution ended, right? Lord forbid that. What will we do then? So my wife and the wife of Gabe's best friend, Tony, came up with this idea to start doing some harvest shares in partnership with some of the other county harvest shares. And they basically on their own just decided to start educating some of the residents on how they can do some gardening within the confines of their porches in their apartment complexes and things of that nature. And so there seemed to be an interest with some of the families. And so even some of our staff have been supporting that. And one of one of the hopes that we have is that we could, that becomes now a part of many of the wide array of services and programs that we start integrating, not just within the street outreach network, but especially even with our high school-based wellness centers, where there's a huge focus on addressing the food insecurity issue. And the importance of it is that, in essence, for lack of better words of analogy, it's killing two birds with one stone, because all of you have talked about in a very eloquent way the issues of trauma that so many of our young people and our children are experiencing, right? And so nothing more healing than putting your hands in Mother Earth. It is the most healing thing in the world. For those of you that garden, I know all of you can relate to that, right? That's one of the beauties of gardening, not just seeing the end result, but actually getting your hands into that dirt. And so we've seen that with young people and families, so even to the extent that one of the communities in the Gatesburg area that took part in this, we learned very early on that the parents were telling us that they noticed a shift in the behavior of their children as they started doing the gardening thing. One of them, who was just acknowledged earlier by Councilmember Navarro, Rosario, her son, was suffering from ticks. As a response to a lot of the trauma during the initial months of the pandemic. And ever since her child started really got involved in the gardening, she noticed a shift in his behavior, which we all know makes all the sense in the world. So I like to look at it from not just addressing the food insecurity issue, but also how we can support, healing informed strategies for our young people and for our families, because it provides the outlet for young people and families to do something together. And so that's part of our goal. We'll see how it goes, but thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk about that.
No, thank you very much. And again, it just speaks to why this money is so important and how great the outlets are going to be in terms of how to utilize it. So with that, let me turn to Councilmember Jawanda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to everyone for sharing all these various components, which we're really excited about. I will say, I'm in contact with Director Vassallo a lot on the library front, and I know, I was just going to mention, I know Councilman Reamer, I don't know if he's still around, but while we should have a discussion holistically about how we expand services, Councilmember Rice will remember, I remember, I think at the beginning of the pandemic, we were talking about these pods and like, how do we have a ancillary or congruent effort, which we have now set up with the engagement hubs and what the Black and Brown Coalition is doing. And now this is another step, but that work continues to make sure, because we know that's inequitably distributed there, and there's so much need on that. So we have to definitely come back to that. But I know in the library context, many of the senior employees and who are, disproportionately, are librarians, not all, but are in the buildings and there's health concerns, but everything should be on the table and we should be exploring that. So I think a joint committee session, I just want to say that I would agree with that. I think it'd be a great way to address that. And with that, I'd love to move formally this appropriation for this money to the Collaboration Council through the Recreation Department.
Second. Is there a second? And it's been seconded by Councilmember Avanos. All in favor, please raise their hands. And that is unanimous among those present. Again, noting that Councilmember Navarro unfortunately had a previous meeting, and so unfortunately isn't able to be with us, but I'm sure that she's in support as well. So with that, Ms. Yao, we have 2 unanimous recommendations to send before full council on Tuesday. I want to thank each and every one of you again for your tremendous work. You are doing yeoman's task when it comes to making sure that we're meeting the needs of some of our most vulnerable in our community, especially our children. And so we thank you for that. I want to again thank both Councilmember Duando and Councilmember Reamer for leading this effort in this respect. And we look forward to bringing it before full council. Thank you to my co-chair and vice president. And I guess I'll see you guys in 7 minutes. All right. We are adjourned. Take care, everybody. Stay safe and make sure you're wearing your masks.
Absolutely.